Sons RC coming back at you with another bench/bash video. We're going to do some tags and shout outs at the end of this video, but feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you like bashing, how-to videos, and just this is going to be an awesome run-through video of this latest build that I have here. Now this is my custom scratch build. It's an Outcast 6S/4S with some of the custom parts on here, some parts from some other rigs, but it's a scratch build, so from the ground up it's been built with all parts from Jenny's RC and also from M2C Racing. Got some hot racing parts on there and also some RPM. Basically, I just want to talk for a second about how to build a scratch build, right? I've seen tons of scratch builds out there. They're awesome, but I'm going to run through and also just kind of check out a later video that I'm going to post after this of how I put this vehicle together. So there's not only going to be this video, but I'm going to go through, I've recorded the whole entire build process, how to put the M2C parts together, why you put it together, little tips and tricks along the way. So there will be some videos to come about this vehicle. So just keep watching 3 Sons RC, but let's get started on this, right? So basically, with a scratch build, right, you kind of want to have, number one, a strategy of what you want to do. What I mean by a strategy is, what are you wanting to do in a vehicle? With these Arrma parts, they're very modular. You can kind of match them up to so many different vehicles and kind of make your own custom beast. And basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to build a manic monster truck that still handled well, right? So that's why I built this custom short wheelbase truck. It's all M2C'd out, but I wanted to be custom. I also wanted to be a little bit more, control a little bit better, right? So with that, got some different tires on here. Got the back with LPs. It's a shorter wheelbase. It's going to be lower center of gravity. So it's like a normal Outcast, but it is going to perform a little bit different because of the tires and some of the other parts and choices I've made too. And really I wanted my vehicle to just be able to take a pounding. So really M2C was really, in my opinion, was the only way to go, right? Number 2 is you want to ask around, get advice, hop in the forums, ask those people that you know on Facebook, can what you're thinking about be done? Are all these parts compatible? Don't just assume it all works. For example, you don't want to buy some Italian axles and try to put them on Outcast hubs because they won't work, right? So certain things you want to ask and make sure that. Number 3, make a list of the parts that you need, right? Stock versus aftermarket, you know, make a list, kind of add it all up, see if the budget kind of works and makes sense. You make your build right. You can actually make this build not a whole lot more than what a ready-to-run vehicle would be, or at least definitely not as much as a ready-to-run kit plus all the aftermarket parts. That would be quite a bit more. So you can save some money by breaking up separately, but what I do say is you have to utilize a kit breaker like Jenny's RC in the US, and there's other kit breakers out there. You'd probably know better than I would if you're outside of the US. If you go to just straight buy based upon part number from the Arrma website or from Horizon Hobbies, it's going to be very expensive to do this. So you want to budget it all out and kind of have a game plan, right? With listing all those parts out, you can build it in phases. You don't have to build this and order all these parts all at once. A lot of people don't have the budget to do that, so you know you can start from the frame and the chassis and the electronics and start building out from there. What point is buying some arms if you don't have the diff cases and all that kind of stuff to build it? So right off the bat, it's a stock BLX system with an 18-tooth pinion. So she's going to be running fast, right, guys? I also got everything M2C that you basically buy out of the 6S catalog, except for the motor mount. That really wasn't necessary. My diffs on this vehicle from front to back are 80, 500, and 30. Honestly, the hobby shop was out at 50. That's why I normally throw in the front. I shouldn't be much different there. I do have some RPM arms on here, as you can see. RPM arms and skid guards. And I also have the skid plate on the bottom and RPM bumper in the front. Love those bumpers. And I got a T-Bones rear bumper just to protect that rear end a little bit. I do also have a Power Hobbies fan. Now, I love these fans. They come with the Y connector, so they're a little bit cheaper than the racing fans, and I've taken my truck well over 100 feet off of a pole, and that thing's still going in my King Creighton, so I definitely do suggest these Power Hobbies fans. They're awesome. So one thing you want to think about, guys, is also the body. What type of body you're going to put on here? For me, I decided to go with an Outcast 4S body, mostly because Just Bash and RC had them for super cheap, and they are a parts breaker also. You can check them out too, link in the description. But got the Outcast 6S sticker on there. I had to do some modifications to the body to make this happen. So got these stock Arrma mounts on here. And then also with that, these are Techno body mounts that will basically widen the stance just a bit so that it matches up with the holes in the 4S body. And then in the back, I had to be more creative, and props to Chris Anthony for kind of sharing this tip on one of his builds that he did that's very similar to this one, is actually, I lengthened it. But these are basically wing mount posts. I used 4 of them, and everybody's got a couple of these if you built a couple of Arrmas. And I've stretched it out with super long, I think it's 40mm screws to go straight through the tower and into this mount right here. And then your standard Arrma mounts right here. And these are gonna match up with the width in the back. So that way, I really didn't wanna mess with the holes and the mounting spots on here. I wanted to use the body and not do another set of holes. So basically, with the Technos in the front and the Arrmas in the back with the extensions, I was able to put this on here, and it fits quite nicely. You can see how well this mounts up there with those mounting spots. All right, so M2C parts, obviously got the front and the rear hinge pin kits, and these are essential if you guys are wanting to bash it and to send it. These just lock in the front and the rear of the truck, so basically if any type of impact comes in through the arm or through the rear end, it goes around the diff case and zeroes itself out and protects that diff case, because that's a pain in the butt to replace. Also in the back here, besides M2C, I do have a hot racing rear diff case. If you can only do one, definitely go get the rear one. Also got the M2C Outdrives and the drive cups on all the diffs. You want to check those out on M2C's website. They're made out of a hardened steel, and what they do is they really get rid of all the slop. I mean, there's no slop in this drive line. It's just super tight. Yeah, you can slide slide forward and back, but not side to side. So it's a harder steel. It's harder to break that up. And if you've been running arm trucks for a while, you know that those outdrives can get kind of tore up. It's got the M2C chassis on here, 4mm, 70/75 metal. This is a short wheelbase one for the Outcast, and that's just a great piece, great kit. That is the foundation of this. But with that, you can see that I got the chassis braces that runs up into the tower supports, and then also into the shock towers from M2C Racing. Now, why do you want to have all this metal on the truck? Isn't it going to make it heavier? Let me talk to you about the design philosophy and why M2C Racing makes the parts that they make and how they support the basher community. So if you basically take a hit in the rear, if you get a shock hit to the shock tower here or to the rear end, the shock is going to run down this shock tower into the tower support brace, into the chassis brace, and then zero itself out in the chassis. And basically, same thing with the hinge pin kit. It zeroes it out around there. So it kind of creates this triangle or like an exoskeleton for the actual truck, and basically just protects your whole vehicle. And then you have these outer extremities of the vehicle that are plastic. You know, RPM makes great arms, and then you have like the rear wing, and then if you want to do a bumper, you can do something like this with T-Bone's bumper. And basically, these are all flexible, right? These take the shock too. You don't want everything to be metal, because then it's going to just transmit that shock into the wrong places and break the parts that you don't want it to break. So that's kind of why M2C Racing does what it does. They don't just make things metal just for the sake of making things metal because they can throw it in a CNC machine. M2C Racing designs their parts to be tough, and they design them to work together. And so right here we have the M2C Racing Shock Standoffs, and these are 4mm. You got to drill those out, but that adds a lot of strength right here. These ZRS shock caps are a bladderless system that really changes the dynamic of how the whole front and rear end of the truck work. They have slots in the bottom of the piston that'll slow down the piston when rebounding, so it'll soften up bumps, and when you're landing, it'll reduce bounce. So that's why those are designed to be like that. It's not just, you know, chrome looking or just metal looking, right? This is actually functional piece designed for a whole new type of experience on your truck. And that's why I stick with M2C Racing. I can't tell you how much money I've spent on M2C Racing parts, but I believe in it, right? I also have the M2C Racing ESC Plate down here. You can barely see it. And this is designed for your stock ESC and for your Max 6 Our Hobby servo, 23 kg. It's kind of basher type servo here, just proven, reasonably priced. So props first of all to Arrma, just building these amazing rigs. They design great vehicles, right? And just great for the basher community. But they're super modular, and you can create your own custom scratch build like this. So props to Arrma for just making our lives just more enjoyable in the RC community by giving us the ability to kind of create our own Frankenstein beasts of a vehicle. And besides that, obviously, M2C Racing, Mitch Looper out there, props to him and the team out there, just designing great pieces for the basher community to make it so we can take these Arrma rigs and just take them to the moon, right? Like Kevin Talbot says. So props to M2C Racing, Arrma, and all that kind of stuff. But besides that, I want to give a huge shout out to Richard Duperbash. Duperbash, RC Dude 81, these guys just sending it to the moon. These are kind of like what I look to as, you know, kind of the pioneers in the sport. These guys just sending it far beyond. If you're subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to them, there's something wrong with you. So I'll have a link to their channels in the description, so definitely check their stuff out. Those guys, what they do with ramps and just sending their stuff to the moon, I've learned a ton from them. I consider them friends. I just reach out to them if I have any questions, comments, concerns, and all that kind of stuff. They've just been great support. Not only do they send it and enjoy putting videos out for us to enjoy, but they're there to support. They're in the forums, they're answering questions, and just very humble guys. And just really enjoy the passion for the hobby, you know, just with Mitch and M2C Racing and all those guys in the test team. Also, Chris Anthony, Commander, so appreciate that guy. He's giving me some ideas. You know, great friend of mine, actually. He's giving me some great ideas for this build. Great support, super humble guy, super helpful. Just really appreciate what he does and what he adds to the community. And his skills, the skills of these guys, you know, I get so excited when I watch their videos because they just put out some crazy stuff. So check out their videos if you haven't. So props to those guys. Those three guys are just awesome. Besides that, though, Thomas P at TP Parts Extreme, I appreciate his tutorials, everything he does for the community. Check out his videos and his bash spots that he goes to. Just insane, guys. If you haven't seen any of his videos at the pit, where he's got a couple places that he goes to, check out Thomas P at TP Parts Extreme, his tutorials and his bashing spots. Just a great guy, super humble guy, just loves the hobby, so check his stuff out. Also, a couple honorable mentions. Some channels that aren't as big, and I don't understand why they're not bigger, but I want to give shout out to East Tactics, a buddy of mine, who really, what I love about this guy is he's always providing solutions. He's always digging in there to kind of figure out different ideas, hobo mods, if you want to call them, different ideas and techniques and things that can be used to kind of make our rigs a little bit better. And I like it because he's curious. So check that guy out. East Tactics, right? Besides that, you got Dr. RC or DRRC Stunt. Great videos. He puts out his production level on his videos is just insane. I love to watch his videos. They're super entertaining. His stuff is great. Obviously, hey, everybody knows Kevin Talbot. I love Kevin Talbot. I think he's absolutely hilarious. You know, I love that he sends it. He gets a hard time because he breaks some stuff, but you know what? You're going to break some stuff when you send it like crazy like he does. So I love watching him. His personality is super enjoyable. You guys have been tagged. I appreciate you guys. You guys are pioneers in the hobby, pioneers in what we all do. So, you know, props to Rich, props to Eric, Chris Anthony, Thomas P. You guys are awesome. Kevin, just killing it. East Tactics, DRRC Stunt. You know, you guys is awesome. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have inspired me to get into this hobby and to take this thing to the next level.
Crazy tornado. There we go.
That was still a good day.
Just trying to get warmed up, see how much speed I can get.
Oh, tricky. Yeah, let's try and get one.
Too high, you said?